Are you thinking of visiting the Kaunas Botanical Gardens? It's a little bit of a way out of town. Down here. Kaunas, an excellent place if you can ride a bike, to hire a bike. Or if you're riding around the Baltics with a bike of your own, you'll be pleased when you reach Kaunas because you can really get around and see a lot of places, such as the Botanical Gardens. Here's a picture right in the centre of Kaunas to whet your appetite, with Lithuania's largest orangery and rose garden. A little alternative to get away from the crowds, although can't promise it won't be popular. I'm now walking down, oh dear, what's the street called? Can I pronounce it? Probably not. Am I on Donilecio? No, it's Dicanto. Relatively easy to pronounce. Daucanto, Gatva. And at number 28, apparently in a courtyard, so I'm not sure because, frankly, there's a building site at the end of this street. So perhaps it's in this courtyard that we find the next piece of street art. Is this number 28, Daucanto? Because if it isn't, the street runs out anyway. It's got to be, Hush my mouth. Choirs of angels sing, clouds open, and here we have this piece of hidden away street art, which is already getting flaky, isn't it? Danielius Dolskis. The man was an artist. I think you can tell from his hands, can't you? A rather disappointing, and again, it's one of those things that makes me think of 1960s sci-fi almost. A fountain. Just remember, no swimming and do not drink the water. Where could we go next? I'm not telling you everything. You have to use your imagination. We'll see. Join me later. While I'm here, I have to say I am getting more and more curious. Very curious. Oh, hello. Who's that then? Yes, very curious about what lies above and beyond on this building site. Is there any indication of alien life forms, unexploded bombs, or anything else they might be doing over there? Perhaps it's just guys with feet up drinking cups of tea all day. You wouldn't know behind this big screen. Unless you're a Lithuanian basketball player, and then you could easily look over the top, I guess. Seems like technology has moved on a little bit, but maybe making movies was more fun back then. Certainly the experience of seeing them here in Kaunas. There's the cow. The city that puts cow into Kaunas. More fun watching the pictures in old grand cinemas like the Romuva. I can only try and pronounce it as I see it, I guess. Chiuni Sugihara. And this tower of metal birds. I think they're metal birds. And that famous phrase, whoever saves one life saves the world entire. So honoured among the nations. Chiuni Sugihara. Can't help thinking we need to discuss the pink elephant in the room. Pink elephant on the wall. Why not say hello to this little charmer? When you see the green chair on the roof, you know you're in the right place. Yard gallery. Upon noticing that the neighbours living in the yard had become alienated and had forgotten the common past of the yard, the artist Vytenis Yakas started creating Yard Gallery, a courtyard surrounded by apartment buildings built in the interwar period. Various artistic projects are implemented here, portraits of the Jews who lived in this house before the Holocaust, along with current residents. Characters of various works are painted on the facades of the apartment buildings, mirror mosaics and stained glass windows are created, and community events are organised with the community festivals celebrated together. I'm asked to keep silence, speak quietly, express their emotions with restraint, so I'm going to keep quiet altogether. There's a nice change for you. Hello. Are you remembering back in Tallinn? There was work going on around one of the areas of the terminals, and the city had seen fit to put up these very nice blown up images from old photographs of Tallinn docks. Here in Kaunas, it seems as though they've undertaken a very similar project. Slight difficulty, right on the edge of a car park, and therefore a bit tricky to be able to appreciate these old pictures. Here in Kaunas. Looks as though this is the last one. Obviously a fancy building. Historical Presidential Palace of the Republic of Lithuania in Kaunas. Ho ho! It also says Čiurlionis National Museum of Art. Post-revolution, temporarily this city was the capital. It's now, of course, the second city of Lithuania after Vilnius, but this city retains its very much Lithuanian demography among the population. Yeah, well over 90% of the population of Kaunas has for some time been, well, identifying ethnically as Lithuanian as opposed to the minority ethnic Russian population. Far more ethnic Russians in the capital Vilnius, and of course in other parts of, in particular, eastern Lithuania. Just the other day K was for Klaipeda, but today K is for Kaunas. Lovely to see the lower balcony being brought back to life in that nice burgundy paint. I like it. You might have been wondering, why is the idiot determined to stay on St. Gertrude Street? Well, lurking behind the trees up there is quite an impressive church. Yeah, another church. Sorry about that. And just by chance, 3 little boys painted in, I suppose, 2022 as a part of this extravaganza of street art that Kaunas indulged in. Kaunas St. Nicholas Church and Benedictine Convent. The privilege of King Casimir Jagiellon, hang on, he's sounding Polish to me, of 1463 marks that the boundary of the town ran at the bottom of Antakalnis Hill. The territory stretching up the hill belonged to St. Nicholas Church, and in 1624 a Benedictine convent was founded next to the church. Lower, around the location of the contemporary steps path, there was most probably a wooden town wall with gates to the river Neris. Up to the 19th century, the monastery was timbered and small-sized. A brick-laid monastery was built only in 1825. It had a rectangular layout with 2 floors and was connected to the church by the southern wing. In the second quarter of the 19th century, the reconstructed eastern facade of the church assumed neo-Baroque style features. Between the 20s and 30s of the 20th century, the windows were decorated with stained glasses, and the interior decor was designed by the artist L. Truikis. The church has the original Gothic tower, which is especially valuable for its mesh, stellar and crystal interior arches. Year 15th to 17th century, style Gothic. Well, perhaps I know a little bit more than this guy. At least I remember to leave the hostel with my shoes from the shoe rack. This guy, well, yeah, I'd have difficulty filling his shoes, wouldn't I? Shall we have a little look upstairs? Do-do, there are 3 steps to heaven. Do-do-do, do-do-do-do. Yep, don't know the words. Could be worse, but yeah, a little bit elusive, I think. But at least we found something extra which wasn't on the map, which is always nice. The old wise man.